Hey uncles. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It's been so long. Did you miss me? Let's pretend you do. Anyways, it's finally here, yay. My unmotivated ass finally managed to finish it. I really am sorry that it took such a long time. These past few months aren't the best. Stuff happened and the pressure was too overwhelming for me, but I finally got into college. And yes, I'm doing okay now. If today is 21st of July, then I somehow am able to upload this video on my birthday. Now say happy birthday or I pray you'll step on a Lego tonight. Ahem. I'm truly honored to be born after our favorite king, so happy birthday Oikawa. Thank you for existing as a fictional character. Anyways, you probably don't wanna listen to me blabbering for too long, but I just have to say, this video is shit. I'm a little proud of it, but I'm not satisfied. It's weird, and cringy, and I hate it. So beware, I might cry as I watch people criticize everything. But without further ado, enjoy the show.
Mom, what's the difference between fate and destiny? A young girl asked the woman beside her as they both sat on a bench in a quiet park. It was peaceful, to say the least. The breeze blew gently as the trees whispered around them. The woman looked down with a smile. Well, fate and destiny are both words dealing with a predetermined or destined future. Then does that mean they're the same? She shook her head slowly. Not exactly. Destiny depends on your choices in life, while fate is concrete and determined by the universe. You can't change it and it's inevitable. Inevitable. Like Thanos. She laughed. Yes, like Thanos. That's scary. What is fate? No matter how hard you try, you can't avoid it, like the horror game I played where the enemy won't stop chasing me. Haha, but you still managed to escape, no. Yes, but still, it was really, really scary. She pulled the sulking girl closer, resting her head on top of her daughter's as she hummed. So if I trip on a rock, is it destiny? Yeah, no, because I chose to walk through that path. And the rock that happens to be there is called a coincidence. Ooh. So then, what about fate? Fate is, when you miss your bus and meet the person who will turn out to be your spouse while you are standing on the platform waiting on the next bus. Like how you and Dad met. Correct. She ruffled her daughter's hair as the latter giggled. What about misfortunes? Is it also fate? Well, in most cases, yes. Then, that means some people don't have a choice and can't avoid them no matter how hard they try. The woman smiled. That's how it is. Some people grow up without parents, some people don't have enough money to go to school, and some people don't have a home to return to. But that's unfair. Why can't everyone just live happily? I guess everyone's just fated to be different, with unique personalities and strengths. If we all grow the same way, there will no longer be beauty to life. Everything will become dull and plain. Besides, hard times are when we can learn to be patient and to become a better person. Do you remember what your dad said? You won't feel happiness without knowing sadness. Smart girl. She giggled, before her smile slowly fell. Then, Toru, what would happen to the people who face bad things in their lives? Toru, can you hear me? Well, Oikawa, wake up. It's either they have the strength to fight, or give up. Kawa, don't do this to me. At the end of the day, it always depends on their choices. That's a disappointing answer. Haha, I believe as long as you have good people with you, you'll be fine. Now enough about this topic. Let's go to that ice cream place you always wanted. Yay, ice cream. Let's go, let's go. The mother laughed, allowing herself to be dragged by the little girl further from the small wooden bench. A small little crow on a tree branch watched them for a while before flapping its wings and flying away. Present time. Atsumu paced around back and forth, biting on his bottom lip and fiddled with his earlobe anxiously. After getting off the ambulance, the nurses immediately rushed Oikawa into the emergency room. Tears threatened to spill out of his eyes, but the blonde teen was still in shock more than anything. He couldn't process the situation just yet. His best friend just got hit by a fucking car in front of him, who the hell would be able to fathom that in a span of few minutes? With shaky hands, he opened the group chat, no longer caring that he was always so scared to check it. Volleyball hose. Atsumu is online. At everyone. At everyone. At everyone. Guys. Get on. Please. Everyone is online. What is it now? I got pinged. Bury the bee. I had to delay my dinner for this, it better be important. Coming from Atsumu. I doubt it. Yeah, he probably did this to flex about something. Hey, knock it off. Why is the group chat so loud at this hour? I just wanna go back to sleep. Everyone shut the fuck up and come to Tokyo Central Hospital. Now. Atsumu is offline. Huh. Tokyo Hospital, but why? Is anyone sick? I don't think so. He just left without an explanation. This was a waste of time. Yeah, I'm going back to dinner. And me with sleep. Guys, what if it's actually serious? And what if it's a prank? Again, a waste of our time, I'm not doing that. But it seemed really important. Aren't you guys worried? And besides, why the heck would Sumu joke about this type of stuff? I don't know, for fun. I don't get the guy. Anyways, I don't really care. Again, my bed is calling me, and me, with food. What the hell? You know what, whatever. Kita, Akashi, let's go. I'll be there. I'll take the train then. Maki, Matsun, you wanna come with? Why not? If he's going then I guess I am too. Shuga, are you sure you'll be okay? Do you want me to accompany you? I'm okay, just take care of the children. I might not be able to attend practice tomorrow. It's fine, just stay safe. I will. Akashi, can I join in? Of course Bakudo-san. Kuro bro. Damn, I wish. My mom isn't letting me. You can come tomorrow bro. Definitely. Kita, no. Stay here. Your parents might get worried. I'm on my way to the train station now, see you guys there. 6 people are offline. Well shit, I hope everything's okay. It is, you're just falling for another prank right now. Or something stupid. It's always like that with Atsumu. WTF. Seriously guys, stop being jerks, Atsumu never did anything. Y'all really hold grudges long for harmless pranks. I agree. Don't butt in Lev. Sorry Yaku-san. I mean, Kuru-san is right. Tanaka and I do pranks almost all the time but none of you ever minded. Yeah, why is that? Do y'all ever shut up? I'm playing. Kenma. No. Kenma is offline. More people are offline. I'm sorry Kuru-san. I'm guessing he's busy then. Sigh. He always is. Anyways, it doesn't matter now, I'm worried about what the hell's going on with Atsumu. Isn't he visiting Tokyo with Oikawa-san? Yeah, Kita said that in the captain's group chat. I hope nothing major is going on. Let's hope he'll be fine. After getting out of the taxi, Shuga, Akashi, and Bakuto rushed inside the hospital, almost bumping into several people on the way. If it weren't for their fast reflexes, they would have come to the receptionist in a hurry but already spotted Atsumu in the hallway. The boy was sulking on the floor, back pressed against the wall with his face buried in his knees. His shoulders were trembling, and they only noticed it once they walked closer. Sumu. Shuga called out quietly, but it was enough to make Atsumu look up, tears evident on his flushed face. To their surprise, he suddenly broke down. The sound of heartbreaking sob made Shuga drop to his knees and pulled the crying male in a tight embrace. He couldn't speak, interrupted by his own hiccups. Meanwhile, Shuga didn't question anything, only rubbing Atsumu's back in an attempt to calm him down. It's okay. Take your time. We're here. As if on cue, Kita, Maki, and Matsun came rushing in and stopped when they spotted the sight in front of them. What happened? Maki whispered to Akashi, which the latter shakes his head to. I don't know. We're waiting till he calms down. Isn't he supposed to be with Oikawa? Where is he? At that moment, they didn't want to assume, they truly didn't. But as realization dawned upon them, their eyes widened as they froze in place. Toru, he got into an accident, right in front of me, and I couldn't do anything besides watching it happen. His sobs intensified, and his hiccups began to make it difficult for him to breathe. Noticing this, the teary-eyed Shuga tightened the hug. Breathe. I got you. Bakuto runs a hand through his silver and black hair as he turned away in shock, still couldn't fathom the fact that his friend is now in a critical condition. Akashi placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, sending everyone a nod to excuse themselves before walking away to calm the ace down. Kita decided to take a seat in case his legs couldn't take his own weight anymore while Maki raised a hand to cover his mouth. Fucking hell. Mattson cursed under his breath, arms folded to hide his shaky hands. He knew he didn't have the right to be sad and regretful, not after the shit he has done. He hasn't even apologized yet. Still, what if? What if they treated him better? Would this have happened? Would Oikawa be lying on a deathbed as all of them awaits in uncertainty? Where are the others? Atsumu managed to say between hiccups. They either can't come because it's late or they thought you're pulling a shitty prank. A tense silence. Text them. Huh. Text them about the accident and fucking tell them to come in the morning. Okay. The sound of heart monitor was beeping through the room. Thick white walls surrounded the hospital bed with a seemingly lifeless body lying on top of it. The only comforting thing Iweizumi could find was the slow rise and fall of his lover's chest. All night, he stayed by Oikawa's side, unable to leave even if it's just for dinner and breakfast. Iweizumi had informed about this to Oikawa's parents, to which they responded by going home from their business trip as soon as they can. A knock came from the door, but he didn't acknowledge it. It was closed with a soft click as footsteps approached him. How are you holding up? Iweizumi leaned back in his chair, never taking his eyes off of the brunette. I'll manage. So what did the doctor say? Mattson asked with folded arms. He's gonna stay unconscious for a while. The dumbass hit his head on the stairs. Oh God. Iweizumi looked up at his friend, and Mattson frowned. You look like a mess. Shut up. Why are you here anyway? The wavy black-haired male raised a hand that was holding a bag filled with Iweizumi's food. Your mom nagged me to bring this to you. I can't believe you haven't eaten anything. No appetite. But Mattson shoved the bag towards Iweizumi. Eat. The latter glared at him. That won't work on me, I'm not Oikawa. Now eat up. You think he'd be fine if he found out you're not eating because of him? Probably not. He would definitely freak out and start scolding him. In the end, Iweizumi gave in. Sighing, he began filling up his stomach with food. He loved his mom's cooking, but right now, nothing tastes right in his tongue. He could only finish half of it before setting it aside. Bro, he'll be fine. I know. Because if he doesn't wake up soon, I'll kill him. Mattson chuckled. Sure you will. The door creaks open once more, and Maki's head popped in to look around. His eyebrows shot up when he spotted Iweizumi and Matsukawa who had turned around. Maki. Hey. He grinned, one that didn't quite reach his eyes for once as he entered the room. How is he? Iweizumi turned back to look at Oikawa's peaceful expression. It was as if he's asleep. The doctor said they don't know when he'll wake up. Probably soon though, he wouldn't want to miss practice. Maki looked at Oikawa's unconscious form in bewilderment. Good lord, he's such a volleyball freak. Careful. It's my boyfriend you're talking about there. Maki rolled his eyes before muttering under his breath. Simp. Shit, am I dead? Something echoed, a silky voice he recognized as his own, but somehow, it didn't come from him. It was weird, yet he didn't question it. At the age of 18, now that's just a sad life I went through. If he could, he would have sulked by now. Oikawa Toru is a sensible boy who couldn't see a bright future ahead of him, with all the valid reasons as to why he hates geniuses and blessed people that had never done the same amount of effort to succeed, so in the end, he paved his own way, just so he could at least catch a glimpse of the very thing he yearned for. The satisfaction through his overwhelming passion in volleyball. However, right now, he sure as hell can't see anything. He felt like drowning and floating in an endless dark abyss. It was something that should be suffocating, the view that could make anyone lose their breath, afraid of the unknown. His lungs should be burning by now. He should have tried grasping for air, desperately clutching onto his translucent neck only to no avail. But Oikawa felt oddly calm and content. He felt at peace. Was he opening his eyes? He didn't know. Everything was pitch black, like something you would find in a black hole. The boy didn't know where his body was, or if he even had a body to begin with. He could not physically feel anything. Then it hit him. If he's dead, was he supposed to realize? As a matter of fact, was he supposed to be able to think right now? Once someone can no longer connect with the world, shouldn't they lose all consciousness and finally allow eternal silence to consume them? At least that's what he believed. It felt like hours, an everlasting cycle of void. Even now, he was still sinking and floating. Oikawa started thinking again to himself, why his mind was still alive when each of his cell is not. Is this how he's going to spend the rest of his dead days? If so, then damn, he cursed himself for the sins he had done in the real world. Then his body felt light. Lighter than a feather. Lighter than air. And he gasped, his eyes widening to reveal a shrinking pair of chocolate-brown pupils. He frantically rose into a sitting position, breathing heavily. Meanwhile, his hand ran down his face as Oikawa tried to collect his composure. He didn't know what just happened, but that sure as hell was a scary experience. And he froze once he noticed his surroundings. This time, it wasn't dark, but he couldn't exactly explain this without sounding crazy. He could see everything clearly, even with the soft clouds crowding his area. He's at the sky. Oikawa stood up, mouth agape as he observed them, turning around every now and then before he looked down to see what he was standing on. It was water. There are ripples every time he took a step, mirroring the endless skies above him, but strangely enough, his feet aren't wet. Where the hell is he? But this place, it's beautiful. He was enchanted, until he whirled around one last time, only to see him. He thought it was a reflection, then he realized their postures weren't the same. Their eyes widened the same way, shocked by this turn of event. You, the person with a similar face to him whispered. Meanwhile, Oikawa observed his reflection from head to toe. I actually look hot. The other version of him had his jaw dropped, face flushing red. Oh God, is this how I act on a daily basis? He whispered to himself, horrified. I heard that. You were supposed to. How can I be so embarrassing? It's called being confident. Oh yeah, the unknown person told me you have insecurities you're trying to hide. Oikawa gasps dramatically. Pinky did what? Yeah. They exposed you.
Get wrecked, loser.
Ah, whatever. He rolled his eyes, throwing his face away with a quiet humph. The other him simply stares with an unimpressed look on his face. Are you always this bratty? Shut up, we're technically the same person. I bet you're whiny too.
I am not. Bet you are. No, I'm not. Too. Not. Gua. Both of them shrieked and tumbled onto the ground, or water, whatever the heck this is, when everything suddenly shook, as if the universe was telling them to shut up and not disturb their peace. They did exactly that. Instead of getting up, they settled into a comfortable position, facing each other and never dared to blink. Well, this is awkward. I'm assuming you're me. And you're me. I think so. The other boy extended his hand for a handshake. Oikawa Toru. He returned the friendly gesture. Oikawa Toru, too. Damn, this is confusing. They quickly pulled their hands apart, the brunette scratching the back of his head. Alright, let's make this easier. You can call me Toru, and I'll call you Oikawa. How does that sound? Sounds good to me. A thick silence grew in the air, and neither dared to break it, no matter how many questions piled inside their brains. Oikawa inhaled a deep breath, turning to face his alternate self. So, how's the other world? At that question, Turo's tense expression soon dropped into something of annoyance that was hidden behind his smug smirk and gritted teeth. I hate them. I can't believe you managed to put up with them for so long. Yeah, Oikawa hung his head down low, avoiding the other's gaze at all costs. I'm sorry about them. Must have been rough for you. Not really. Toru shrugged nonchalantly. Seriously? Yeah, I just simply ignored them. It was a bit lonely, but thanks to that insufferable Mia, I managed to get through. Mia? Oh, you mean Sumu. Wait, you're actually close to that guy. I mean, yes, he's nice and supportive, why wouldn't I be? Wait, you're not friends with Atsumu in your world? Hell no, that guy is as arrogant as they come. Just like you. Shut up. Oikawa chuckled. The redhead and Ushiwaka were there too. I guess I also have them to thank for. You hung out with fricking Ushiwaka. Based on your reaction, I feel glad we don't get along even in another universe. Yeah, I absolutely despise him. If his ass could just find another good setter, he'd stop chasing us like a mad lad. Exactly. Then again, don't you feel a little pride? It's not every day someone like him never stopped trying to recruit us. As much as I hate to say it, he's a good ace. Oh God, please don't ever say stuff like that with my voice and face. It's so weird. Shut up. I'm stomping on my pride just admitting that. And it's true. Toru felt like he just got hit with a brick on the face. Now, it's my turn to ask. He crossed his arms. Why are you friends with them even though they treat you like shit? Why are you friends with them even though they treat you like shit? Ah, Oikawa looked away, hugging his knees close to his chest. Well. He sighed. Believe it or not, they weren't always like that. Toru narrowed his eyes in suspicion. I'm telling the truth. He let out another deep exhale. About 2 or 3 years ago, everything was fine. Iwa-chan wasn't straight up mean, and everyone weren't verbally abusive. The change was sudden, but it was gradual and came out of nowhere for no logical reason. For example, everything was fine and dandy. We were joking around until one of them pointed out about my ass. It was a joke at first and I brushed it off, but then the insults increase. I still tried to play it cool but, it's so hard to explain. No, I get it. You do. Yeah, when you have close friends and a team that you trust, it's hard to not be convinced of what they say, especially since your Iweizumi is involved. Like, they say you're a bad captain, and since you trust them, it's hard to not believe that. So at the end of the day, you constantly look at yourself and criticize every single thing. That's exactly why your confidence isn't the best. Did I get that right? Oikawa was speechless before a soft laugh escaped his lips. I'm not sure whether to feel amazed or offended. Both, because I'm just that amazing. Toru sent him a flirty wink, and Oikawa could have sworn he saw sparkles in the background. You're unbelievable. Oh, I know. And I mean that in a bad way. Oi. Anyways. Fine. Yes, I guess what you said is right. And a part of me still sorta hope that everything will return back to normal. That's a ridiculous wish. You shouldn't wait around for things to go back to how it was. God. I know. I don't blame you though. If I was in your position, I'd probably do the same. But since I'm not, I dump them. You what?
Today, the team was supposed to have a practice session, and being the vice captain, he knew he had to take charge. That's what Oikawa would have wanted too. He can just imagine the brunette saying, Iwa-chan, don't ditch your responsibilities for me. We already agreed to put volleyball before anything. Iweizumi sighed. Yeah, in this situation, that doesn't apply, Shitikawa. However, this morning, he still tried to join practice by informing Maki and Matsun, but they immediately scolded him. They knew how tired he must be, and that's definitely not a good condition to be when doing a sport that requires him to move a lot. Now, here he was, still in the hospital room, waiting for his best friend to wake up. Truly, was he worried about him? Of course he was, but at the same time, he knew Oikawa. He's 100% sure that he's going to wake up. He hasn't even become a professional volleyball player yet. Caressing the cheek of an unconscious Oikawa, Iweizumi smiled. But then a click from the door caused him to turn around. Matsun, I thought you were gonna take care of the team, huh? He stopped mid-sentence. Atsumu. Heya, Iweizumi-san. What brings you here? From afar, Atsumu scratched the back of his head, nervously fiddling with the lobe of his ear. Just wanna visit, I guess. I mean, few folks from Inarizaki and the other teams did. I woulda feel bad if I don't so. The blonde stepped closer, handing 2 bars of chocolate. Here's for ya and Oikawa-san. Iweizumi took them with a smile. Thanks. Well, I better get goin'. Samu's waitin' outside for me. Inform the group once he's awake, wantcha? Of course, don't worry. Thanks for the visit again. I hate Oikawa and he hates me. Shut it. I'm leavin'. Atsumu stomped away with puffed cheeks after seeing the teasing look on Iweizumi's face. The latter chuckled, watching how the door went closed gently despite Atsumu's annoyance. He's such a kid. He reminds me of you. He didn't need to face the person for people to know he's talking about him.
You what? Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that? I basically said, fuck you all, and dipped. Wah, why the heck would you? At least thank me, geez. Now you don't have to deal with their toxic asses. That's not your decision to make. Technically, it was, since I am you. Oikawa sighed, running a hand down his face in disbelief. Then what about Iwa-chan? I dumped his ass first. What? Pretty sure you heard me loud and clear. He doesn't deserve you and you know it. You've spent weeks in my shoes, haven't you? You know the difference between my Iwa-chan and yours, our friends too. You know how a person should be treated, and how your friends treated you wasn't right. Now snap out of it and get out of that little bubble of fantasy, thanks. Toru gazed towards his alternate self curiously, but Oikawa kept on avoiding it, instead fiddling with his fingers to calm himself down. Thank you. Having lived a different life gave me an answer as to why I was a bit miserable. He let out a dry chuckle. Your friends were really nice, and I didn't know Iwa-chan could be so sweet. Everything made me realize that. Then Oikawa lifted his head, looking at Toru straight in the eyes. I do deserve better.
For hours, Atsumu stayed at the hospital. He gave his friends Oikawa's sister's address so they can stay there for the meantime until morning comes. Shuga tried convincing him to go with them, but the boy refused, saying there needs to be someone here in case of an emergency. It was around 6 a.m., he was fiddling with his phone when Akashi sits beside him. Hey, Keiji-kun, what are ya doing here? Oh, we decided to arrive earlier than usual. I think the others are getting breakfast. The dark-haired male grabbed something from his other side. It was a bento and a bottle of water. Here, I'm guessing you haven't eaten anything. Atsumu snickered, accepting the food and drink. Thanks. No problem. I'm going to the bathroom, I'll be back. He nodded in response and began eating. His appetite isn't as good as usual, but as long as Oikawa is inside the emergency room with a critical condition, Atsumu truly thinks he won't be motivated to do anything for a while. In the end, he only ate half of it before putting the bento aside, gulping down on his water. Atsumu buried his face in his hands while his elbows rested on his knees. Releasing a deep shaky breath, he tried focusing on calming himself down. The teen boy didn't even notice that a group of people had approached him. Atsumu. He recognized that voice immediately and his heart began to beat faster, but he couldn't even bother to lift his own face. Calm down, Sumu. Toru will be okay. You'll be okay. Shuga told us about it. Another familiar voice spoke, but Atsumu still refused to face them. About Oikawa, stop. We're sore, and that was the last straw. Atsumu stood up, and without even looking at the other person, he grabbed them by the collar and violently pushed them back. Kyutani, although startled, tried his best to keep his composure and neutral expression. Atsumu. Kita, alongside the others who visited last night, came running closer. Words of reassurance and attempts to calm him down was deaf in his ears. All he could do was glare at the floor. Sorry. Haha. Really? Are ya really fucking sorry? It took Toru to be in a hospital, dying, for our asses to say sorry. Sumu, shut up. All he wanted was to be accepted. He didn't ask for ya to worship him. He only wanted for his friends to treat him decently. Ya hear that? Not nicely, decently. That's how fucking much y'all made him suffer. Atsumu's voice slowly cracked, but his grip only tightened. This was supposed to be our day. For us to take a break from all the shit ya put us through, ya put him through. But we ain't supposed to. We shouldn't have to distance ourselves from our friends and family. He glanced at Osamu, allowing the others to catch a small glimpse of his glassy eyes. He wouldn't be here if ya idiots would just. His sentence was cut off by a strangled cry. A part of him wanted to blame them, pin everything on them, that Oikawa is in a critical condition all because of them. But Atsumu knew better. He was better than that. Fuck. Ya ain't got no right to treat us like that, calling us friends and then disregard us like garbage. Because that's. Atsumu's voice softened. Mean. His grip gradually loosened, and his head dropped even lower, as if all the strength within him has vanished while his shoulders shake through the stifled sobs. That's so. Mean. At last, Atsumu shoved Kyutani away before wiping his tears as his legs took him far from the crowd, disappearing around the corner. Bakuto had one of his arms stretched out, wanting to go after him but was held back by Akashi, who subtly shakes his head. Shuga clenched his fist, eyes narrowing at someone in particular before stomping towards them. Shuga-san, wait, a loud smack was heard. The silver-haired boy's hand was up in the air while Osamu's face was turned to the side, eyes widening in shock. Shuga had indeed slapped him. He can handle a shitty boyfriend, but not a shitty brother. Fix it. And he chased after the poor blonde boy before anyone could stop him. Where is Sakusa? Kita's monotone voice broke the tense silence with ease. He's on his way. Suna answered after he noticed that no one was. And Iweizumi. Silence. Son of a, Maki placed a hand on Matsun's shoulder to calm him down, but the latter gently held onto it before letting it drop. I'll be back, he said, walking away, and only a few people seemed to know where he could be heading. Meanwhile, Shuga found Atsumu sitting on a bench in the hospital's garden. Silently, he approached the quiet boy, afraid of startling him as he took a seat. No words were exchanged between them, and they didn't mind. Shuga figured Atsumu prefers it this way. Ya no. When I first met Toru-chan, he was a real pain in the ass. But in the end, we clicked. Ain't no one understands me more than he do. I always felt inferior to Samu, same as him with Tobio-kun. When we put aside our differences, I can see myself in him. That probably sounds stupid, but seeing him in a hospital bed, unconscious. It's like watching yourself after enduring all the shit. He looks awful. Would I end up like that if I was the one who tied my shoes instead? Atsumu chuckled dryly, and though Shuga didn't understand, he continued listening. The blonde's grip tightened on the edge of the metal he was sitting on. Watching their faces, being sad and upset and all that. I just can't believe it. Judge him all you want, but to Atsumu, it was unfair.
I do deserve better. A moment of silence had passed, and a grin gradually grew on Turo's face. Now that's the spirit. Would you look at that? You're not so hopeless after all. Oi, what's that supposed to mean? It means you should stop being an edgelord. It doesn't suit our face. Eat shit. No, that's disgusting. Oikawa rolled his eyes. You're disgusting. Yes, but I'm also pretty. Still don't know if I should envy your confidence or hate it. Self-love is the best form of love, darling. Yours is narcissism. Shish, stop arguing with yourself. It's not a good story to tell to your grandchildren. What? You're planning to tell about this experience to your future kids? Hey, at least children won't think I'm crazy. How would people react if someone told them they traveled to an alternate reality? Right, but speaking about traveling in alternate realities, where the hell are we? Beats me. Toru shrugged. Doesn't seem like we're dead though. I mean, you think heaven would be more crowded? You think this is heaven? You think we'd go to hell? I mean, you probably would. That's true. Both of them cackled. Tell me about yourself. I'm still wondering if we have the same childhood and all that. Let's see.
Meanwhile, at school, Maki and Matsun finally explained the cause of Oikawa's fall, and Kyutani was quick to walk away from them, an intimidating aura surrounding him. Where are you going? He didn't answer, only disappearing out the gym. Kandaichi and Yahaba looked at each other, deciding it would be best to follow him, so they did. What are they doing? Probably to confront the girl. Kyutani might be grumpy, but he also respects Oikawa-san, although he never really showed it. Because of the stair incident, Oikawa-san can't play, and that angers him a lot. And how do you know that? Kunami shrugged. Just a hunch. And it was true. Kyutani straight up went to confront the girl while Kandaichi and Yahaba tried as best as they can to not make it a bigger scene. They went into a more empty hallway, cornering her on the wall. Kyutani, maybe you should back up a bit, you're scaring her, fuck off. Hey, I'm serious. Kyutani ignored him and focused on the person in front of him. You better have a good reason to send Oikawa-san to a hospital. Maybe she didn't know it would end up this way. Well, she did push him on purpose to either hurt him or heavily injure him, so I don't think she's clueless to the consequences. That makes sense. You better feel fucking lucky that Iweizumi-san hasn't reported you yet. I'm sorry, okay. They could see her hands trembled slightly, even though she tried to hide them behind her back. Sorry doesn't fix this. Tell us why you did it. I don't. You don't. I don't know. I don't know why I did it. She shut her eyes tightly, voice almost cracking. What do you mean you don't know? I could tell the truth, but I'm not sure you would even believe it. Try me. Well, I've always been jealous of Oikawa-san. I like him a lot. I mean, who doesn't? He's talented, smart, pretty, the whole school knows him. So when he announced that he's dating Iweizumi-san, everyone's freaking out. I'm just one of those people who decided to admire him, maybe a little too much, but. That day, for some reason, I was thinking that maybe, if I can't have him, no one else can. She looked down, and none of them were sure if she feels genuinely guilty. Oh, damn. What type of yandere shit? So you were meant to kill him? No. No. I don't know, okay. I'm also confused, I didn't think I dared to do that. You've thought of it before. You're sick in the head, I'm done with this. Kutani walked away, in a more sour mood than before. Yahaba can only guess he simply didn't want to deal with a potential murderer. Where did he go? No one might ever know, but Yahaba truly doubt that he's going to stand idly.
The two Oikawas sat in silence after exchanging their stories. It turns out that their lives weren't so different after all. They grew up the same way, met their best friend the same date, and attended the same school. Still, the changes in their friends affected them more than they know. Do you think there's a world where we're born in a different timeline? What do you mean? No, stuff like the future where we live with robots, or medieval times when kingdoms still exist. That's ridiculous. They don't exist. Yeah, well, it's not scientifically proven that alternate universes exist, but here we are. Toru rolled his eyes. He was lying on his back, looking at the blue sky above him. Meanwhile, Oikawa sat beside him, hugging his knees close to his chest as he stared at the ripples of water beneath his feet. Either way, we wouldn't know, and I'm not sure we'll ever know. We're trapped in here. Then we have to find a way out. How? I don't know. Think of something. Toru rise up to a sitting position, shoulders slumped lazily. There was a short moment of silence before he shouted. Oi, can we get out? No response. Guess not. How the heck do you come up to a conclusion that if we yell at the sky, maybe it'll work? Shut up. At least I'm trying. You're not even doing anything. This time, Oikawa rolled his eyes before screaming. I eat babies for dinner. Now why the fuck? Shish, maybe if they think we're crazy cannibals, they'll let us out. Toru facepalmed. We're gonna be trapped forever. Oi, what exactly happened before you woke up here? Well, I remember going back to class to grab something after practice. There was Iowa, and I think we were gonna go home together. But Oikawa trailed off, eyebrows furrowing in confusion as he tried to recall what exactly happened. After I grabbed the thing, I was walking down the stairs, and I saw him before I suddenly blacked out. You fainted while walking down? I don't know. It happened too fast. I can't remember. How about you? I think a car hit me. You got into an accident. Apparently so, but since I'm not dead, I don't think it's that bad. What are you talking about? Those stuff are always bad. How the hell am I supposed to know? I didn't even get a single scratch. Toru said, revealing his clean arms, void of scratches. True. Damn, this is so confusing. I need answers. Wait, now that I think about it, they got mad when we were arguing and screaming. Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting? Wouldn't hurt to try, right? Right. Unless they regret keeping us alive and decide to send us to hell. You're so dramatic. I'm not a mirror asshole. And mean. Yeah, well, my friend's roasts taught me a few things. Toru rolled his eyes. Fine. We've been screaming a few times anyway. I don't think it'll take us anywhere. With one last glance towards each other, they sighed simultaneously. Hey, if we go back. When we go back. Right. When we go back, what are you going to do? Who knows? Probably continue what you were doing and go on with my life, or I could give them a piece of my mind now that I feel braver. Will you be alright? Of course I will. You've helped me. Oikawa turned to Toru with a soft grin, while the latter widened their eyes slightly before turning away. You're so sappy, it sickens me. And Oikawa laughed.
Meanwhile, a loud knock came from the door, but no one answered. Again, and again, and another. Finally, the door slowly creaked open, and Matsukawa stepped in. His line of vision was met by an empty room. Well, it wasn't really empty. On one of the tables was a bag he was familiar with alongside a white jacket. Now he definitely knew the person is here. Matsun approached another room not far from there, and he immediately spotted Iweizumi practicing with a volleyball by himself at the court. He crossed his arms, leaning back onto the wall nonchalantly and simply watched for a good few seconds. You know your boyfriend is in the hospital, right? Iweizumi kept his eyes on the ball, never bothering to glance at the source of the voice. Matsun expected that he purposely ignored him, but then raised his eyebrows when he received an answer. I know. And aren't you going to visit him? Later. He'll be fine. He's in a coma, Iweizumi. Iweizumi finally stopped throwing the ball, letting it rest between his palms. So, what do you want me to do? I'm not a doctor. Damn it, Iweizumi. Visit him. Silence. I can't, he said, turning away to avoid the other boy's gaze. What do you mean you can't? I mean, that I can't. Matsun was in disbelief. Surely, Iweizumi wouldn't go that far. He scoffed. Insulting Oikawa was one thing, but not visiting him in a hospital when he could possibly be dying. He's your boyfriend and best friend. Are you seriously that heartless? Iweizumi simply heaved out a sigh, walking away to put all the scattered volleyballs in their place while Matsun stepped closer. The latter still could not comprehend whatever is going on in his friend's mind. If you have nothing else to say, you better leave. Iweizumi, what the actual hell is wrong with you? Even the others came to the hospital to see him. Do you not care about Oikawa at all? Shut up, you're giving me a headache. No. Have some fucking empathy, will you? Do you really hate your own best friend that much? Iweizumi turned around, a neutral expression contrasting Matsun's bewildered face. Maybe I do. And that was enough to make Matsun push the other boy against the wall harshly, one of his arms pressing at his chest. He glowered, and if glares could kill, Iweizumi would have turned into dust 3 seconds ago. What the fuck, Matsun? Shut the hell up. I never thought you'd be so cruel, to Oikawa out of all people. Why are you like this? Do you not care about him at all? What has he done to make you feel this contempt towards him? I seriously can't understand you, Iweizumi. You told me you can't visit Oikawa, or you just simply don't want to. At least make us understand. I can't. His shout echoed through the empty court, and a tense silence lingered in the air. I can't. Now, his voice was a mere whisper. What do you mean? I don't know, okay. I don't. Iweizumi's head hung down low, but darker dots had appeared on Matsun's long sleeve, and it was the moment he realized they were droplet of tears. I don't know why I'm like this. I don't fucking know why I keep treating him like that. I don't know why I can't bring myself to care. But I should. I know I should. Can't you see? I want to, but I can't. I can't. Matsun slowly backed away and Iweizumi slides to the ground with a soft thud. His emotions could no longer be contained. It all spilled out at once, and he wasn't sure how to stop it. What am I doing, Matsun? Good fucking question, but I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and it hurts. It hurts so much, yet I can't stop. Iweizumi looked down on his hands and chuckled through his tears. Pathetic, right? Look at them, they're so dirty. Then he turned his head to face Matsukawa with a bitter smile. How did you and Maki do it? I kept asking myself how the hell you managed to care to finally stop whatever stupid thing we were doing to Oikawa. And every passing minute of wondering about that, I feel even more lost. I don't know what's happening to me. Haha, have I finally gone crazy? Is that why I'm being such a heartless asshole? Oikawa. He was hurting because of me, and I couldn't do anything about it. As the two boys stared at each other, drowning in silence, Matsun understood. He understood almost immediately. The thicker and harder the cage is, the more impossible it is to escape. Because do you know the difference of being unable to do anything and being unable to do enough? Most people would say the latter is more painful, but for Iweizumi, he had to disagree. Because he experienced it firsthand. Iweizumi could still remember their little date a few days ago. Oikawa dragged him out of his house, demanding for ice cream. Even though his best friend seemed different lately, it's not much. Something was clearly bothering Oikawa, but he never pressed on about it. If the brunette wants to tell him, he will, at his own time. Because although Iweizumi has an irritable personality, his patience was great. Maybe dealing with someone as insufferable as Oikawa has its effects, after all. He could still remember so clearly how he stared at the beautiful boy in front of him, taking in all his features as the sunset reflected on his brown eyes, but inside them was confliction, and Iweizumi prayed to not let himself cry just so he could figure out what was going on. A few days ago. Oi, Shitikawa. Again, that's so vulgar, Iwa. Iweizumi rolled his eyes. Shut up and listen. Fine, fine. What is it, you grumpy troll? He scowled, but made no comments on the new nickname. Just. If anything's bothering you, or if anyone's hurting you, tell me, okay? Oikawa's eyebrows shot up before resting his chin on his palm, a smug smirk on his face. You do care. Of course I do, idiot. The other boy merely giggled. So if I tell you, then what? You're gonna take care of it and be my knight in shining armor. Iweizumi almost immediately regretted speaking up. God knows how long Oikawa is gonna keep up his teasing. I won't. You won't. Yeah, why would I? Your dumbass can take care of it yourself. Besides, you hate being a damsel in distress. Iweizumi grumbled in response, turning away. But seconds passed and there were no playful retorts, and he looked back at Oikawa to see a longing expression, one that he never knew the other could make. However, it disappeared faster than he could open his mouth. You know me so well, Iwa-chan. Oikawa cooed, and Iweizumi glared, but in his head, he decided to not talk about it. Because who knows what kind of unknown expression Oikawa could make next. And for now, just for now, Iweizumi refused to dig deep into something about his boyfriend that he never knew of. Because sometimes, ignorance is bliss. And for some reason, deep down, he knew this was one of them.
Besides volleyball, do you do anything else? You mean like a part-time job? I work as a cashier in a small supermarket. Having a pretty face has its benefits. He winked. Gross. Shut up. We have the same face, so I'm basically complimenting you too. Anyways, other than that, I also give private lessons to kids in my neighborhood. That's it. I'm more amazed at how you managed to find the time for those. Well, I'd feel bad if I have to ask my family for volleyball-related stuff since they're pretty expensive, so I try to make my own money. Yeah, call me a workaholic freak. That too, but what I meant to say was, you're pretty cool, and independent. Wait, really? I can't do those stuff since I liked being alone at home, thinking about how sad my life is, he said sarcastically with a roll of his eyes. You're such an emo guy. I wasn't finished. Ahem, as I was saying, I'll definitely try to find part-time jobs when we return, if we return. Nah, it's definitely when. A new voice spoke so suddenly, causing both of them to jump to their feet, Toru using Oikawa as a human body shield. You, me. The newcomer grinned innocently. You know him. Yeah, though I was pretty sure he looked more feminine before. The person that stood before them was, or seemed, like a guy. Who knows, the boys didn't like to assume. They were still a bit shorter, with similar obnoxious pink hair that Oikawa could remember at the back of his mind. Long-sleeved white shirt made out of silk that almost didn't contrast with their pale skin, alongside long black pants, though they don't have any shoes on. Their grin was the same, innocent and aggravating. Yep, Oikawa is 100% sure it's the same person. Hey, I'm a god, I can be anything I want and I don't have a gender. You're a what? Rude. Don't cut someone off when they're speaking. Anyways, other Oikawa, aren't you going to introduce us? Oikawa sighed. It's Unknown, the creator. The same one who switched our lives. Honestly, nothing surprises me anymore. Good, because I'm going to cut this nice and short. You both are going back. Come on, let me take you. Now. Like, right now. Nope. In about 14,988 seconds, of course, right now, idiota. Oh, now they're about to speak Spanish. Oh my god. Come on. I thought you guys were waiting for this. Let's go. Yeah, but you can't just suddenly come barging in and announce something like that. We were having a nice conversation. Unknown sighed. Fine. I'm sorry, but really, we have to go soon. I got universes to go, and places to be. You made it seem like you're a very busy person. Excuse you, I am. Whatever. I'm giving you 5 minutes. They spoke one last time before turning into specks of light in a snap of a finger. I guess you were right. Toru turned to Oikawa with a genuine smile. We're going home. And the latter returned it with the same smile. Yeah, so, will you be okay? For the last time, I will. Don't worry about it. I learned a lot from just being you. Though, I really will miss sweet Iwa-chan. Hey, don't think about it too much. Things will work out, I promise. Maybe they'll change. They better will. Puffed. Now, don't start making empty promises. Hey, I wasn't. I did a lot ever since I got into your world. Yeah. Both of them quieted down, letting the realization sink in. They really are going back. Well, guess that's it. You seem confident in yourself, so I'm leaving the rest to you. Yeah. Thanks again, for everything. Don't sweat it. You deserve happiness too. So, are you both done? Unknown popped in once more, out of nowhere, checking in on the two. Yeah, we are. Wonderful. Follow me. The creator led them away, and even though the scenery around them never changed, they stopped at a certain spot. It took Unknown a flip of their hand to open up some kind of portal, gateway, light. None of the boys knew what it is, but the warmth radiating from it was enough to lure them in and make them feel welcomed. Just step into the light. Don't be shy. Doesn't that usually mean accepting death? Oikawa said with a frown. Shish, your knowledge is very limited. Now go. Alright, geez. The two turned to face each other. Bro hug, and they did so, patting each other on the back, but then Oikawa tightened his embrace. He decided that he really does like hugs. Who knows when he could get something like this again? It was nice meeting you. Likewise. One last time, they turned to face the one responsible for their roller coaster journey, only to find them already grinning in delight. No need to thank me. I simply did my job. Well, I guess that's one thing, but it was mainly, fuck you for suddenly switching our lives like that. Oikawa chuckled in agreement. Rude. Hey, come back here you, but they already stepped into the light. I regret helping you too. Still, in the end, they couldn't resist putting on a small smile. Where am I? Oikawa fluttered his eyes open, only for his vision to blur. Everything seemed so white, and he tried as best as he could to focus. A massive headache washed over him, and he grunted, looking to the side. There he spotted a familiar volleyball keychain attached to a bag on top of a table. That's Iwa-chan's bag, and I'm in a hospital room. What happened? The boy felt a slight weight shift, and he turned his head to see Iweizumi laying his head on it as he sat on a chair near the bed, their hands intertwined together. He's sleeping. Oh, right. I just traveled worlds. Or was it just a dream? Either way, it sounds bizarre and difficult to comprehend. Believing it was real would make him feel like an idiot. What time is it anyway? He glanced at the digital clock that flashed with the number 1542. Psst, Iwa-chan. He called out groggily, throat sore. Aren't you supposed to be at practice? Later. Iweizumi mumbled in his sleep, and Oikawa giggled. Oi, wake up. Geez, have you been ditching sleep? He pointed out, observing the dark circles under his boyfriend's eyes as he gently rubbed the other's cheek. Iweizumi mumbled once more, the gesture slowly waking him. In his half-asleep state, he stared at Oikawa with a blank face, before his eyes almost bulged out of their sockets. Toru. He scrambled to his feet, about to rush to get the doctor when Oikawa tightened the grip around his fingers. I'm fine. Stay. Reluctantly, Iweizumi did, settling back to his seat. Are you feeling okay? Does anything hurt? Damn trash Oikawa. I was worried sick. Haha, I know. And I feel okay. Just a small headache, don't worry. What happened anyway? The last thing I could remember is, a car. A car. You fell down the stairs and hit your head because some idiot pushed you. Are you sure you're alright? Stairs. But I'm pretty sure the accident was. Yeah, I'm fine. I think I just recalled another situation. How long have I been out? About 3 days. Never mind that. Do you remember anything from the past week? If this is true, the other Oikawa didn't tell me everything about his journey, neither did I. Only some of them. My mind's a bit foggy. Then I'll go get the doctor, okay? It won't take long. I need them to make sure you're completely fine. No need. A deep voice that came from the doorway caught their attention. It was a doctor. He approached the two teenagers, a medical record in his hands. Oikawa Toru, correct. Do you feel well enough for me to ask you some questions and do a few checkups? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. And Iweizumi stepped aside, allowing the doctor to do his work. A few minutes later, the older man came up with a conclusion. It seems like Oikawa-kun hit his head a little too hard. The severe concussion caused him to forget a few things. Slowly try to jog his mind and make him recall. Take him to places you've been to and show some vivid images. Once he feels better, we can discharge him, but he will still have to visit the hospital a few times for checkups, just to make sure. Remember to eat healthy foods and drink lots of water. Don't do any extreme sports that can injure you even more. You have to be fully healed before you can do any hard activity. I will inform the details to his parents once they arrive. Thank you, sir. Oikawa felt relieved. With the alibi given by the doctor, it becomes easier for him to dodge his way through with the excuse, I can't remember, if anyone tries to talk to him about stuff that he clearly doesn't know about. Thanks, doc. The doctor nodded at Iweizumi, about to turn around when he discreetly sent Oikawa a wink. The brunette widened his eyes, as if he could recognize that wink anywhere. His eyes were glued to the doctor's back as the door slowly closed. He received the message loud and clear. He did travel to another world, and that doctor was. Toru, you there? Huh, oh, sorry, I zoned out a bit. But hey, Iwa-chan, you wanna go to that ice cream shop we went to once I'm out of here? Really? Ice cream after you're injured? To be fair, ice cream makes everything better. You're insufferable. The pale boy winks. And you love me for it. Shut up, Shitikawa. Mean Iwa-chan. Oikawa whined and Iweizumi turned away, preventing him from seeing the small genuine smile that slowly crept up to his face. I guess everything turned out fine after all. Meanwhile, light years away, on another side of the universe. Ow. Oikawa shut his eyes tighter when he felt the heavy pounding in his head. His whole body hurts, and he barely had any energy to turn his head. Once he did, he took his sweet time to observe his surroundings. He knew this room all too well. A hospital. Question is, what the hell happened? Looking down at his body, he thought the sight was almost traumatizing for him. His legs were wrapped in bandages, but one was placed on a thick pillow. I broke my leg. He grunted in pain, trying to sit up but to no avail. Toru. A gasp came from beside him, and his eyes widened when he saw Atsumu, gently forcing him to lay back down. What do ya think er doin'? Just lay down. Oikawa didn't listen, of course. Sumu. What happened? Ya got into an accident, that's what happened. How do ya feel? Like shit. He groaned. Is this a hospital room? How long have I been here? Dunno. Days. I don't keep track of it. And, you've been here this whole time? Not the whole time. I have to eat and shower too, ya know. The brunette chuckled, before hissing when pain shot through his abdomen. Wait. Lemme just. Before Atsumu could finish his sentence, the door goes open and a very familiar figure steps in, and that someone instantly made Atsumu's eyes narrow, but he didn't say anything. Iweizumi, however, had his gaze set on Oikawa only. Iwa-chan. Suddenly, Atsumu's back had blocked Oikawa's view, taking a protective stance in front of him, as if challenging Iweizumi to take another step closer. Why the hell are you here? Silence overtook them, before Iweizumi parted his lips, speaking softly. We already talked this through, Atsumu. Doesn't mean I'm gonna blindly trust y'all like those idiots. Sumu, I'll be fine. Oikawa abruptly cuts in, and when Atsumu whipped his head around, about to come up with some sort of retort, his best friend was already looking at him straight in the eyes. The Inarizakis set her side, looking back at Iweizumi with a glare. Fine. But I'm callin' a doc. If this jerk hurts ya again, tell me. Yes, I promise. Sending Oikawa one last smile, Atsumu walked out the room, silently threatening Iweizumi with his deadly gaze in the process before the door clicked shut. Silence soon consumed the room, and when Iwa took a few steps closer, Oikawa could have sworn his heartbeat was louder than the sound of the tapping shoes. Seeing his ex and childhood best friend after experiencing the other world, it made him see Iweizumi in a new light, and he wasn't sure if it was good or bad. In some ways, he realized that he truly deserves better. Being a pushover and a damsel in distress also didn't help his situation. He's slowly learning to be better. On the other hand, after seeing the alternate Iweizumi, it felt harder to let go. Because that exact face smiled at him, the same hazel eyes that looked at him softly, like he was the only thing that mattered. His hands clutched onto the blanket that covered his body, and his shoulders shook as he looked down, covering his face as much as possible. Oikawa. And hearing that familiar voice calling his name with a choked yet gentle tone, he looked up, a bright grin decorating his face. How have you been, Iwa-chan? Oh, come on now, why so gloomy? The least you could do is answer my question. Ha. Iweizumi let out an exasperated sigh, scratching the back of his head. And here you are asking how others are doing when you're the one on a hospital bed. Hey, you often carried me to hospitals whenever I injured my knee. This isn't that much different. Are you serious? Of course it's different. Everyone could have lost you. Haha, I guess they could have, but I wouldn't know if anyone cared now, would I? Another awkward silence, and Oikawa cursed himself for saying that petty line. God, living in another world really affected how he acts. He coughed a few times, trying to break the ice. Upon closer inspection, he finally noticed the bruise on Iweizumi's cheek and frowned. That's a nasty bruise, where'd you get it? Oh, Iweizumi's hand shot up to caress his own face. Sugawara may or may not have punched me when I decided to visit the hospital for the first time. Did I not cover it up properly? If you're talking about covering it up with makeup, it was an awful attempt. It's still visible. Unconsciously, he had brought his hand up to gently touch it, not realizing how close their faces have gotten. Oikawa. Eep. Sorry. Personal space. The brunette immediately backed away, eyes widening with one arm flinging around, because there's no way he'll recklessly move his other one that's attached to an infusion set. No, it's fine. I'm the one who should be sorry. Oikawa froze. Did he hear that right? What? Iweizumi shut his eyes tightly, before opening them to finally look at Oikawa, determination within them. Sorry. I'm sorry for all the things I've done to you. Both of their gazes locked onto each other, not daring to look away. Pain was evident, each with different reasons and causes. Iweizumi for realizing that he had hurt the person he cares about the most, and Oikawa upon remembering what this world had put him through. You really should be. Tears began pooling at the edge of his eyes, daring to slip out. Mixed emotions swirled within him. Happiness, relief, pain, all put into a single smile that soon turned him into a sobbing mess. You were such a jerk, Iwa. I know. You should have considered how I feel. I know. You didn't even care about me. I know. I wish I didn't love you. I know. But I still do, and it's so stupid of me to want you in my life after all the shit you've done. I want to scream at you, punch you, but I can't. I want to throw you out of my life and never see you again, but I can't. Because you've always been there, and you'll continue to be a part of me. That same kid who encouraged me to pursue volleyball, the one who carried me home when I hurt my knee even though you just recovered from a broken arm, the same boy who always scolded me whenever I was being a brat. We were doing so well, Iwa. But then, every time Oikawa spoke, Iweizumi could feel his heart ache, like it always does each time he treats the other coldly. Only that it's 10 times worse now after that day. What I did was unforgivable, and I can't blame you for wanting to do any of those. I deserve that. I really am sorry for everything. No matter how many times I say it, I know for a fact it doesn't erase all the things I did to you. I've hurt you deeply. And I'm surprised that you still want me in your life. He chuckled bitterly. Don't do that to yourself, Toru. Everyone probably knows how bad I am for you by now. I guess what I'm saying is, us. I don't think we're meant to be in each other's life at all. You were in so much pain, and after realizing that, I hate the fact that I'm the one who put you through it. Staying with you. I don't deserve that. I did horrible things, and I'm afraid that I'll do it again even without meaning to. Iweizumi looked down upon his slightly shaking hands before clenching his fists. Did I love you? Of course I did. I do, and I still couldn't understand why I did any of those stuff. Hey, that probably sounds like an excuse, huh? But indeed, Iweizumi was still lost, confused, trying to find answers he so desperately seeks. And no, I guess it's better than those scripted apology videos. Iweizumi facepalmed. Sorry, continue. As I was saying, I don't want to see you suffer anymore. And the only way is for me to leave and support you from the sidelines. Watching you from afar, I won't be able to hurt you that way. Silence. Why are you so focused on the thought that you could possibly hurt me? Because I did. Yes, you did, but who are you to decide what's better for me? You deserve much better though. I do, but do you think it'll be okay if you suddenly ditch me and act like total strangers? No, Iwa, that's because you're a coward. Stop thinking that distancing yourself is the only solution. You think you running away will make me feel good. For fuck's sake, we've been stuck together for years. I've adored you, I've hated you, and I've loved you. And I swear, if you think I can throw those feelings away in a second, you're delusional. Toru, really, I don't deserve your forgiveness. Isn't it my decision to forgive you or not? Don't go ahead and decide that for me. I honestly still don't understand why you changed, but honestly, I'm willing to start over, if you stop being such a coward. Are you sure? Don't start doubting me now, Iwa-chan. Right, you know I don't deserve all this, right? We can still only be teammates and… Hajime. The other boy sighed deeply. Alright, then. Can I at least ask you to wait? Wait, I need to sort out some things. I'll admit, in the end, it's your decision to forgive me or not, but I also need to fix myself. I have many things to learn. I want to be a better version of myself, for the sake of starting over. In order to do that, could you give me some time? Alright, take as many time as you need. Thank you. Then, you'll wait for me. The corners of the brunette's lips twitched upward, forming a gentle smile. Always. Even with his pale complexion, showered by the sunset that illuminated part of his features, Oikawa still looked so damn beautiful. From the highest point of the building could anyone hear the sound of distant train and honking of cars. One stood under a sky of perfect midnight velvet, filled with stars so brilliant that they drew the eyes of the silhouette. The moon appeared anew in the starry night, and the figure felt themselves smirk in triumph. So, who should I go for next?
Hey besties. That was really long, damn. I'm in so much pain after editing that. Anyways, lore will be put in the description since I assume a lot of you will be confused. I'm not putting it in the vid, I'm too lazy for that. If you have any questions or need more explanation, comment down or go ahead and join the Discord server, link will be in the description. Don't be scared, we don't bite. Writing this series has been nice. Although I struggled a lot, the love it has been receiving gives me enough motivation to finish it, and I never finish things that I started. Honestly, I started writing this because I hated how people disrespected Oikawa's strong character so much to the point of making him seem like a whiny pushover who can't seem to live without his Iwa-chan. The fandom made fun of him so much for being flat. An animator's mistake or not, who the hell cares about someone else's body? He's not real. Shut up. He's a fictional character that brings some people comfort and they can see themselves in him. Even if he isn't real, people's feelings still exist. I've seen so many people being Oikawa kinnies and get insulted right off the bat. Oh, you must be flat then. I will dunk you. Stop thinking that body shaming is normal. Oikawa isn't all about that. It's how hardworking he is and his great potential to lead a team. I think I'm gonna stop that here since I don't want this to turn into a full-on rant. Lastly, this series brought me closer to some of the most amazing people I've met, and I'm really grateful for that. Will I make another one? Who knows? College is starting soon and I'm about to be real busy, so this video might be the last one until I upload something random in the future. I do thank you all for the unconditional support and for being patient with me, especially Ren and Fini who reassured me that this is good enough. I deeply apologize if this story doesn't reach your expectations at all. Really, this series could have had like 6 parts, but I know people tend to get bored of waiting, so here we are, a series of 2 hours of emotional roller coaster. However, I hope you were able to enjoy it nonetheless. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Now enjoy this piece of fine art that Fini made as I cry of happiness.